Welcome to the information for salon owners. And today I would like to take you through some information that I think in this time that we're in right now with salon doors shut because of COVID, it's good timing to look at other opportunities that we can kind of mesh and mix in with what we're currently doing without taking away from the core part of our business. So I want to share with you today a new trend that is starting, and it's a little bit nutrition orientated, but works for anti-aging, which is why I thought it would be worth taking a look through some of this information and how it impacts potentially you as a salon owner as far as income goes, but also for your clients. So some of the time what we're doing with our salons is we're trying to build community, and we're trying to grow our businesses with loyalty. So this will create a lot of, you know, when clients come and they think you're the best thing since sliced bread. Actually, Ella, are you on mute? Can you just check you're muted?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Just for sound quality. You know, when clients think that you're the best thing since sliced bread, it's so lovely, but then they refer you to everyone, and that's how your businesses grow. And so having products that work alongside what you do, obviously it works for our bottom dollar, but it helps build our business small in the beginning and then bigger over time. So it creates more of a sustainable future as a business owner. So I want to talk about this philosophy of biohacking and biohacking with nutrigenomics. So biohacking can take many, many forms, but in this form, we are talking about interacting with our genes so that we are creating or opening back up pathways that our body naturally already has. So we're not twisting and turning and changing things. We're just reopening pathways, and we're going to talk about those gene pathways throughout this. And we're doing this with a science called nutrigenomics. So as the name suggests, it's to do with nutra being nutrition and how foods and natural compounds can actually impact our genes and helping those pathways become, you know, our good genes stay on and our bad genes switch off, particularly as we age. So a little bit of background about me. I am a qualified beauty therapist and holistic aromatherapist. I trained back in the dark ages, it seems like now. 1991, I did my training. And then I started my own salon in 94 back in New Zealand, and I'm currently in Melbourne. And in those days, I then did my next postgraduate course in holistic aromatherapy over 4 years. So back in those days, I worked every weekend and trained every spare hour and did clinical studies and all those kind of things. So it was lots of fun, lots of hard work. I had my business in Auckland, so in a few different areas. And I went through a period in the beginning where I grew quite quickly. I had staff. And then later on, I had kids and things changed, dynamics changed a little bit, and I decided to not have any staff and stay as a boutique kind of salon. So that was kind of my niche, and specialized mainly in the wellness part of anti-aging. So why I tell you this is because you might be in different areas of salon, or you might be a wellness enthusiast or wanting to be a wellness enthusiast, and marry that with what you currently offer in salon. Some of the challenges I found as a salon owner is, of course, I loved what I did. And now, almost 30 years down the track, I am still doing it. So clearly I love it. I think I will never change from it. I will always do, you know, I now specialize in anti-aging. So I will always do some kind of hands-on work. But for me, in the beginning days, because I grew quite quickly, I found it quite stressful. And so what I'm saying is sometimes you can have lots of time when you're starting your business and not much money. You know, so there's that whole, like, you've got oodles of time and not much money coming in, and so you've got time to, you know, upskill and do all those kind of things. or think about where you're heading for the future. And then you get really busy really, really quickly when you're really good at what you do. So then the challenge is you have no time. You might have a lot of money coming in, but then how can you make that money last and, you know, be really cost effective with it so that you're setting yourself up for the future? So one of the things I found challenging was stock on shelves. So I always remember end of financial year, we would do stock take, and I would always think I had run my shelves down. And then you'd look at the numbers and it was like 20 grand worth of stock on the shelves. And I'd be like, oh, I thought I had hardly any stock on the shelf. So that is a lot of money sitting there, basically not in the bank and not in your back pocket. So I want to address some of those issues throughout the presentation. The other thing is staff. Now we're in a high turnover industry, so our staff turns over quite quickly. So whether you want to be a sole trader or if you want to grow bigger and have more staff, there are pros and cons to both, and we are going to talk about that a little bit too. You can leverage your time with having more staff, but I used to find it frustrating when come December we would be chronically busy. We'd all be working our little tails off, and then January it would be quiet. Like all my clientele would go away, they'd go to the beach for the holidays. There'd be nothing. 1 week in January I'd be busy and that would be it. So I would have to keep working to pay everyone's wages that month. So it kind of felt a little bit like when I was in the trenches, oh, I'm just working for nothing. That's what it felt like. I mean, clearly it wasn't, but that was you know, what I had in the back of my mind. The other thing too was if I wanted to go on holiday myself, I had to work like crazy beforehand, then have my time off, and then work like crazy afterwards. So I wanted to find a better way to use my time so that I wasn't getting stressed out, basically, and I wasn't burning out. So that was one of the things that made me look at not just this company that I'm going to show you their products as a solution for the wellness industry that's growing, but also I use another company's products, and it works very similarly as far as leveraging your time. So you may have a number of brands that you have in Salon, and that's completely fine. Make sure everything fits within your ethos of where you are and where you see your point of difference. So let's go through some of that now. So the company's products that I'm going to show you through here and a little bit about where they sit in the wellness market is a company called LIFEVANTAGE. Now, at this point, I need to say that as a distributor, I do not claim to cure, heal, prevent, mitigate, or diagnose any disease, and this information is for education purposes only. So what happened was this company, LIFEVANTAGE, began in a lab with a question: is declining health something we have to simply accept as part of getting older? And I don't know what age you are. So I remember when I turned 40, I started getting a lot more tired and not sleeping so well. I think I had a few hormonal things changing. It was just the start of that time. And I remember very clearly, my mum just said, you know what, you are 40 now, as if to say, you know what, you're just getting older. And for some people that might be okay, and that's fine. But I was like, you know what, I'm only halfway through my life, potentially. So what am I going to be like at 80 if I am only halfway through now and I'm achy and tired in the afternoon? And my kids were young then, they were 5 and 8. And so they were like so busy, I couldn't keep up. So I wanted to find a way for me potentially as well as my clients, because you know what it's like when you hear from clients, what do they talk about? I'm not sleeping, I'm tired in the afternoon, or I'm putting on weight for no reason. Maybe it's hormonal changes or menopause, that type of thing. Or I've got aches and pains and I never had that before. So we once they're on the couch, we kind of hear that all the time. And while we're talking about skin, this is more your lifestyle stuff. So it's stuff that we are actually talking to and teaching them at the same time. Which becomes part of the treatment, if you like, and part of getting to know your client. So things that affect health and wellness from the inside are these 4 factors. And so you're probably really aware that lifestyle choices impact, you know, how we are from a health perspective. Also, it's really clear now with community, with not being in contact, physical touch with everyone, how important community is, and friends and family, and how much of an impact that makes on our health, whether that's mental health or physical health. And we've been faced with the environment for a long time. So that's pollution, clearly from a skin perspective. That makes a massive difference to how fast or slow our skin will age and show those forms of aging. So whether that's pollution or smoking or toxins that are in our environment or in our skincare, anything that we're coming into contact with, and just our weather extremes. So summer, winter, all those types of things. But the last one there, genetics, is the area that has been thought in the past that we haven't been able to impact to do with our health. But now we have found, scientists have found, that we can actually positively impact our genes and use it like switches. So we're going to talk about switching back on genes that normally would turn off at around age 20. And then obviously as we age and get past 20, it speeds up depending on a lot of these other factors. But what can we do about that? So as I said, the first discovery with this company was that our genes had a most incredible ability to keep our bodies healthy. And so it took decades, so 40 years of study, to actually find out that we had these genes that could trigger our body's own innate ability. So when does aging start? And clearly you will know, being a health professional and a beauty expert, that in our 20s, we actually start aging. And I always remember a French trainer when I was very early in my training days said, at 25, you've got mature skin. And I was like, what? I think I might have been 25 at the time. And I'm like, that can't be right. I've got clients who are 40. So, and now at 54, it's, you know, I look at that time and think 25 is not mature. But as far as your skin is concerned, it is mature because it's starting to age, and that's what they were meaning. So if you look at some of those other things that affect the internal side, it gives you an indication on what you can tell your clients why they are starting to feel more tired or more run down or not sleeping. So if you look at the eyes, if you're over 40, you'll know this, objects start to blur after the age of 40, and you start seeing that at, you know, driving at night. And then the other big one for women that we get in Salon is bones. So mineral content declines after age 35, and that's a lot of the hormone stuff coming in and leaching minerals out of our bones. But it's a big thing that women particularly are aware of, and sometimes they're not aware of how early that starts and interventions that can happen. So why are these things happening? And it's a thing you're very familiar with, which is called free radicals and free radical damage, and attacking the skin and also attacking the inside of our body. So as far as the inside of our body goes, think of it like when you cut the apple in half and you leave it on the bench, and after half an hour, you've got that brown skin that's starting to appear. So not only is it oxidizing our skin on the outside, and that's more from those environmental things that are happening, but it's also doing exactly the same thing on the inside. And so if you think of your skin for a moment, if you did the cross section, you know how you've got the top of the skin, and that's what we see. That's what clients always call their skin. That is, beauty experts, we know that some of that is actually underneath and fed from the inside. So things like stress and hormones play a big impact. So does free radical damage. So it can be damaging this lower part of your skin and the dermal layer, which then impacts how your skin is saggy or not firming, it's not having any color, that type of thing. So it can make a big difference. So oxidative stress happens to all of us, and it's a natural form of aging. But what we're talking about here is accelerated oxidative stress, okay? So in today's world, it's happening faster and faster. And unfortunately, our body's own ability to balance that free radical activity, which is, you know, what causes the oxidative stress, too much free radical damage, slows down over time. And it does affect every organ in our body. So again, you're going to know most of these things from toxins. Oops, I'm going to go back up. There we go. Diet, smoking, alcohol, vigorous exercise. And one of the things that we're faced with and don't think about quite often is wireless signals. So, you know, we have our phone next to our head, or nowadays we use speaker. We're on a computer a lot more. So we have radiation coming towards us that our skin is impacted with, but also we get through our bodies, same as wireless and broadband through our houses and at work. So that creates a big impact into how fast our bodies break down. So one solution to the first theory of aging, which is our antioxidant defense system that we already have the ability with in our body. So this is actually called the NRF2 pathway, and it's just a name, so you don't need to remember that. But that pathway is responsible for antioxidant production. So normally we would get antioxidants from our food, but our body actually has its own innate ability to do that, which I never knew till recently. But it does flip off at age 21 to 22. So what happens is these 5 things you'll see in the input there: milk thistle, bacopa, ashwagandha, green tea, and turmeric. The unique combination of those 5 herbs put together actually flip the switch of that gene pathway. So basically it would switch off and block that expression. And what we're doing is, as we feed in those herbs, it's opening up the door, if you like, and that switch goes back on. And that means that our body can then activate 3 main antioxidants. So you'll see over on the right-hand side there, superoxide dismutase, glutathione by 300%. Now, these are studies that are done over 120 days, so 3 months, or more than 3 months, actually. But 300%, that's a massive amount of increase in glutathione, which is actually a supplement that isn't absorbed very well if you're taking it as a supplement. So getting your own body to increase its own glutathione is very healing, and works on that cellular renewal and detoxification. But the key thing there is that it actually helps your enzymes in your body neutralize free radicals by 1,000,000 to 1. So just to put that in perspective, PROTANDIM, which is the product, versus food. So food gives you the number of antioxidants, and it will give you a 1-to-1 ratio of fighting free radicals. So say blueberries is 6,000 antioxidants, it's going to kill 6,000 free radicals. PROTANDIM will give you 1,000,000 antioxidants, so it will go off and kill 1,000,000 free radicals. So that's at a much higher dosage than we can ever get from eating food. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need a healthy diet, because we so do. There are other good things within our food, but just from an antioxidant perspective, this is like having a fire hose going so that we just get a burst of quenching of those free radicals. So we're neutralizing a much higher rate of them at any one time than we can by ingesting, food. So the LifeVantage approach with the product PROTANDIM is that working on your enzyme activity. So killing 1,000,000 free radicals, which we've got trillions and trillions on any one day. So the more we can get rid of, the better from our body's perspective. And on that graph down on the right there, you'll notice there was a study done with participants that took PROTANDIM and those that didn't, and then they took their bloods after a 90-day period. And so the red line shows the participants that did not take PROTANDIM, their oxidative stress went up, and they did different ages, but considerably. And then the ones that did take PROTANDIM, no matter what their age, and they tested the bloods from an 80-year-old and a 25-year-old, and they could not tell the difference in their blood work for oxidative stress. So it actually minimizes oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. And that can be qualified, if you like, by blood tests, which is phenomenal if you think about it. So here's the synergistic effect. So PROTANDIM is more than just, you know, each of those ingredients taken. You know, I was thinking, oh, that's great, I already take green tea and milk thistle, I'm already taking those products, and, you know, I can add some turmeric, that's no problem. But it's not adding those things in, because individually they don't have the same effect as when they're synergistically put together. So it's like eating an apple, right? So PROTANDIM gives you 18 times the effectiveness of those individual ingredients on their own. So that's quite a powerful graph, I thought. One of the things that stood out to me when I looked at this whole philosophy from a wellness perspective was that Washington State University had actually reviewed this product and this concept, but the product itself, when they talked about the NRF2 activation, which is the gene pathway, it said this NRF2 is likely to be the most health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. That's like compared to stents with heart surgery, cancer stuff. So this is big stuff that they are putting out there. And in some books that have been written, you'll see Sanjay Gupta, which you might be hearing a lot of if you watch CNN at the moment. He is on as their medical journalist. But there are some other journals that are out there. So the PROTANDIM has been featured in all three of these books, but one of them in particular is the American Heart Association and Free Radicals in Biology and Medicine. So it's definitely in the scientific world and medical world that's been recognized, which gives it a lot of credibility. So because of how amazing it seems to be, that pathway activation, it has had independent reviews done that are published. So this is on PubMed, which is a government site, and you can go and Google PubMed and punch in PROTANDIM and oxidative stress, and you'll get all the papers and published studies that have been done on this particular product. Also, if you're going to do that, Google oxidative stress and certain conditions that you may be thinking about, not just aging, but, you know, anything that you're concerned with. And there's usually a link between oxidative stress and that condition. So some of those journals that this has been published in particular for me, was the Aging Cell. So of course we're all here to do with anti-aging. So some of those are actually really interesting articles. They're not everyone's cup of tea to read, but just go to the conclusions. And these are some of the universities and institutes that have independently studied the product. So it's not a company studied, it's they've bought the product, done it in their own labs, and then put out their results. The second stage, or the second theory of aging, is to do with energy and detoxification. So mitochondrial health and decline. So you'll know this from your anatomy and physiology days, that every cell in the body has a mitochondria in it. So this is like the battery pack or the power center of the cell. So without healthy mitochondria, our cells don't renew. So it's like that car analogy. So you can have a great engine in your car, but if the battery's flat, your car ain't going anywhere. So same for your body. If your mitochondria is not renewing properly, or it's not detoxifying and getting rid of that, you know, that autophagy side of things, so it's not getting rid of that cleanly, you're going to be sluggish and tired. You're not going to sleep so well. You're going to have grey skin, dull, not looking vibrant. So pretty much that's not going to rock your boat kind of thing. So unfortunately that does slow down as we get older. So this is a way, and because that pathway flips off, it's like a dimmer switch. So it slowly turns off. So what we're wanting to do is slowly turn it back on again and keep us nice and healthy. So we do that with this other product called NRF1 pathway activator. So this works on that biogenesis of the mitochondria in every cell in our body. So again, 5 natural ingredients: acetyl-carnitine, quercetin, grapeseed extract, alpha-lopaic, and coenzyme Q10. So also really great for your skin. So works on cellular repairing, your sleep quality. So a lot of my clients here have noticed how deep their sleep is getting. And that's what I've noticed the most out of using this, is that I don't know if I sleep better, but I definitely sleep deeper. So it means that when I get up in the morning, I'm a lot more rested, and, you know, I kind of feel like I've got it covered kind of thing. I'm ready to get up type thing. The other thing that I've found with this product in particular is that my energy through the day is like a calm energy, and it's not the highs and lows, you know, which I quite often would get, you know, a bit of a slump in the afternoon. So it's just that even keel kind of thing. So that's really important as a therapist, because, you know, you might be working a 10-hour day or whatever, and it's hard, you know, physical work. And you're having to switch on your brain as well as be physical. So it's good for us, but then also it's good for our clients. So it's supporting a lot of brain health and mental clarity as well. The third stage of aging is called sirtuin activities. And you may know of this a little bit from intermittent fasting and the benefits of intermittent fasting. So this is actually, obviously, this is a pathway that slows down as we get older as well. But this is where we can actually switch that back on. And this is where intermittent fasting is very popular at the moment, because with hormonal swings, there's pros and cons to intermittent fasting, but it can work very well for people who need to lose a bit of weight. Its actual function is actually to help with our cholesterol levels and keeping our DNA really healthy and functioning properly, and to work on our healthy stress response and a healthy inflammation response. So their solution is to work on, it's called your NAD pathway. Now this is available in New Zealand and a lot of the other global markets. It's coming to Australia in November, I believe. So it's not here yet. However, you can talk to me a little bit later if you like, and I may be able to get you some. But again, 5 main ingredients that are all natural: theocrine, wasabi, cupreous, nicotinate, anyway, you know how to say that, and olive leaf extract. So it works on that brain clarity, extra energy, metabolism, circulation, healthy cholesterol, good for your heart, lots of positive stuff coming out of those studies for mental health and mental health, let's just say. So there have been studies done on these 3, obviously separately, which you've seen on those other, they're in the PubMed studies, but also as the 3 products done together, there are some studies that have been done, which I always like to see. So there are 3 groups, there are the 3 different pathways, and you can see in the grey is just with the NRF2, so that's the antioxidant pathway. The first blue is with the synergizer, as in just the, so 73% on here, but and then the different responses. So the first one on antioxidant and detoxification gives you an increase of 73% if you are using the 3, which we call the tri-synergizer. For a healthy inflammatory response, you get a whopping 838% increase if you're using those 3 products together. So again, do you need all 3? It's totally up to you. It depends on your priorities. It depends on where your clients are at. But at least you've got some studies behind it on the percentage of increase that they can see. And so you'll find some clients will go, hey, I want to have the whole shebang. And others will go, look, I'm just going to go with the basics. Let's go for the antioxidant because that's your mainstream, if you like, one. So depending on their needs is where I'll be able to help you with that. The other product that is there is, as a pillar of health, is probiotic. And as a health professional and health coaching a lot of women as well, and you'll know this from skin, is a lot of our skin conditions also mean that our gut is not that healthy. So some of the probiotics on the market don't kind of cut the mustard as far as getting a result on the skin, because the skin's the last thing that gets, you know, the nutrients and the betterment of the internal health. So if you're dealing with things like rosacea and eczema and age spots and irritations and rashes, quite a lot of the time it's to do with gut health and having a compromised gut. So looking at something that has a time-released capsule, which is what this product does, it's time-released so that it releases the bacteria into the small and large intestines rather than the stomach where it's destroyed by the stomach acids. And then therefore it can work on not only balancing your flora, gut flora, but also working on that immune health side of things. So increasing your serotonin and a lot of your brain gut synergistic effects, which if you're into looking at where skincare is heading, there's a lot more research going into where the gut health and that type of thing is heading in the next kind of 5 years or so. So keep your eyes out for that. But gut health is really key, and the quality, not so much the quantity, although this does have a lot of bacteria, but just the ones, 5 different strains, 6 billion CFUs, but it's getting to the main part of the gut that does the work. So just going back to that visual in your head of what the skin does. So of course we've got our skincare range that works on the surface of the skin and that epidermis, so there's 6 layers. But we also want to think about the internal side, which is what we've just been talking about with that dermal and hydrodermal layer. So keeping that hydrated, firm, the collagen rebuilding, your elastin fibers rebuilding, working on detoxification. All the functioning of that skin comes from internal rather than skincare. Of course, LifeVantage has a skincare range, and so you may or may not be wanting to stock the skincare. That's entirely up to you. When I was looking at this, I was originally only looking at the internal side to complement what I already had, the brands I had in Salon. What I have found though, and the exciting thing is, one of the key things was this is a really non-toxic range that has really high anti-aging technology in it. And one of the reasons for that is it's a small range, as you'll see, cleanser, toner, eye cream, and anti-aging cream. So pretty simple. But each of those products has the NRF2 activation. So that's your antioxidant pathway. The technology from that is in every single product. So you can get like a really good effect with just 4 products. Now there will be a market within your client base that this works really well for. So be strategic about who you offer this to within Salon. So clearly you'll have your high-end clients and you might want to do more of a retail range. This works perfectly as your online range. And so that they can just order, you get them a customer number and they just buy online, but you get the commission every time they buy. So we're going to talk about the payment side of things a little bit later on, but just know that it is a great skincare range. So some of the ingredients you'll recognize that are in other skincare ranges, but this combination is actually activating that NRF2 pathway, so your enzymes work. No parabens, no formaldehyde, no mineral oil, so it's got all the no's in there, so if you're looking for a clean product. And here are some of the results. So if you look at that fold there that you can see in day 0 to day 56, it's really lifted, which is kind of, for us, we know that's a short amount of time to have a big result. And again, on that lady with the chin, if you can see how that lining and that crepiness, it's like glycation starts through there and the pores get really holy and that texture really changes. It's quite often around hormonal changes and menopause things. Depends on their diet, of course. But that can make a big difference. So see how that from that first slide to the 3rd slide in 60 days, again, short time, that has seriously improved. I mean, I know her forehead lines have kind of softened a little bit, but I think that biggest improvement is this area here, which I think you'll agree, depends on your age. But if you're over 40, this is the area that starts to break down quite rapidly. It does have a hair range. I don't actually have this in Salon, but of course I let my clients know about this because they buy it online. So the hair scalp product has won awards for its technology, basically. So it helps your hair regrow. Obviously, you have to have hair cells there present for it to work, but I have seen the results. So let's just look at these testimonials. This young lady had a bit of alopecia, so the parting on her hair, she had lost a lot of hair. In just 2 weeks, you can see there how much hair growth there is. 2 weeks. So this is using the shampoo, the conditioner, and the truescience scalp serum morning and night. So you just put it on, you leave it in your hair, and then you go about your day, kind of thing. After 2 months, look how glossy her hair is. Now, how many of your clients are going, you know what, I've got split ends, I've got dry hair, I've got frizzy hair, I just want my hair to be glossy and shiny. So, hello. Here's an app that you can download if you don't already know about this app, and you may already know. It's called Think Dirty. And what you can do is just scan your phone with the app running over your products. So do it with all your Salon products, but also what you've got in your bathroom cupboard. So toothpaste, shampoo, body wash, as well as your skincare. And it gives a rating. So green is obviously a clean product. Orange is like, it's not too bad. It's got a little bit of toxicity in it, but maybe it's okay if it's only 1 or 2 products. And then red is your extremely toxic product. So you just want to chuck those and tell your clients to get the app so that they just get rid of all the rubbish that's in their bathroom cupboards. So what we're talking about here from a business perspective, and just to educate your clients on, is it's not supplements. It's not like vitamins and minerals. There's a different place for that in the market. But let's be honest, there are loads of places where we can buy supplements nowadays. And I'm very big in my salon to recommend nutritional products, things that really work to help our skin. But from a business perspective, it's got harder and harder to sell those, because they can just go down to the health food shop and there's a load of different good quality health products. So this is different. It's working on activation. So it's flipping the genes on, flicking the switch. So there's a difference. The passion of the company, LIFEVANTAGE, is its vision is to create a healthier life worldwide, globally. So, and they call that biohacking. So we're just tapping into that biohacking lifestyle. So I think it's kind of cool when you get the positive side of biohacking, you can be a biohacker. It's really cool. So where did the company start from? So it actually started in 2003. So they have been around for a while, nearly 19 years. They became a lot more heard about, if you like, in 2005, when there was the ABC program that was run by this journalist who did an investigative report on PROTANDIM, which was just newish on the market. It used to be sold in GNC stores, retail, but no one kind of knew about it or what it did, and people even in the shops didn't know because there wasn't much training on it. So what happened was this guy went in front of the camera, took the tablet, and then also swallowed one of those cameras so that they could track, and then got his bloods taken. So at 14 days, he got his bloods taken, and his oxidative stress had gone down by 40% in 14 days. And at the end of that time, the 30-day mark, it had gone down by something like 75%. So that's not normal and your average, but for him, and doing it on live on TV, got the world going, oh my goodness, what's happened? And so this is what led to a lot of the universities and medical centers going, what is this? What is this NRF2 activation? And you know, I've got to get me some of that. I got to test some of that to make sure it is what it says it is. So of course it was. We've got all those published studies. And the reason being is that we have got products, and all of the products are the same. They are made to manufacturing quality and industry standards. So the FDA tested, they're TGA approved here in Australia and New Zealand. They are backed by the BCAA for Olympic standards, and there are other conditions there. So if you're worried about, you know, can I sell this from a legal perspective, they have got all your regulations covered and legislatively legislative boards they are ticked on. So I'm not going to run this video here, but basically what this is LifeVantage as a company is NASDAQ traded. It's a debt-free company. So it was invited at the end of 2019, so last year, for the last quarter, they had the biggest growth in the wellness industry. So whatever company has the biggest growth gets invited to ring the bell. So it's a bit of a kudos thing for, you know, they're doing really well as a company. And that's mainly because they're in the wellness industry and they're at the cutting edge side of things. So just to touch a little bit more on that, they are open in 24 countries. So this is a global company. Because we can get to sell this online, we actually have access to trading in all of those countries through our website, which is kind of cool. So you might end up having a global enterprise without even realizing it. So you may get referred to someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, and they're in the UK. Or for me, I have my cousin who's in Canada, and they start using the product, and they have a friend in the US, and they start using the product, and so it goes on. So you can end up with a global economy, basically, which means also, if you're thinking about working smarter, not harder, you can have money coming in from commissions and products being sold 24/7. So while you're sleeping, you get up in the morning and you check your website and you go, ka-ching, there's money in your account. So that's kind of really cool. I want to talk to you about timing just for a minute. In Australia and New Zealand, this is new to our market. So even though LifeVantage as a company has been around for 19 years, the science of nutrigenomics has been studied for 40 years. For Australia and New Zealand, it's really new. So in Australia, it's been here 4 years, which as far as the growth side of things is at the infancy, if you like. So that means that people may not have heard of it, which is a good thing. As a business owner, that's a good thing because it's been tried and true and, you know, tested. We've got all the backing behind it. We just got to go out and tell people. So, and you have a perfect client base for that because they're already what we call qualified. They're already into wellness or looking good. So it's kind of just part of what you do actually. So it's a really good timing. Now these are US and Canada figures, but Australia follows what US and Canada do very closely. So a lot of our figures are very similar. So sales by product, if you look at the wellness side of things, it's actually in a massive growth side of things. This was pre-COVID. So things are actually ramping up quite considerably now that health has become a lot more in everyone's mind, forefront of their mind. So Australia and New Zealand figures, this is just on Google, how many people search conditions or the word oxidative stress and have had published studies around it. So oxidative stress and a condition. So 60% increase in the wellness industry over the last 8 years. And actually, I did some stats here in the last 5 years globally. Wellness has gone up by 44%. And of that wellness side of it, 67% has been in the nutrition field. And so this still comes under nutrition. So that's a big chunk of the market that we could be grabbing because chances are your clients are just going off somewhere else to get that stuff. So yes, there's a bit of training involved, but you are very au fait with anatomy and physiology. So you know a lot of this stuff. As far as the product goes, and this is a really big thing, retention. So that is how many people stay on the product once they start taking it. So as far as having a consumable product, so that is, you know, we take 1 tablet a day and we're taking that for however long we're going to take it for. Why would we take it? Because we want to keep our oxidative stress down so we don't age so fast. So what happens is we have a unique product. You can't buy this at the health food shop. You can't buy it at the supermarket. A lot of practitioners are only just hearing about it now in Australia, and they can get it from us. And it's online. From us. From us. There is a mass market. Everyone is into health and well-being at the moment. It's affordable. In New Zealand, PROTANDIM is in Australia, sorry, PROTANDIM is $64.50, and in New Zealand it is $74. So it's affordable as a, you know, add into your whatever you're doing for your health regime kind of thing. It's backed by science, and that consumability means that once they've taken all the product, they need to reorder because they want to keep going. So that's really important. The percentage there from a business perspective is the product retention is about 80%, which is actually really high. I was excited when I heard that. Most things are like 25%. So it means that most people are happy to keep taking it. And if you've got 80% of people continuing to take it, it means your organization and your income is growing. So this is a combination, how we get paid is a combination of leveraged and linear. So I want you to think about, if you've never heard of leveraged income before, it's just that work smarter, not harder, global enterprise type thing. I'm going to explain that a little bit differently in a minute. But the linear is a bit like when we go to work, we do a client, we get paid for the treatment. So it's our time and hours spent with a client, we get paid for. You can leverage that time by selling a product in Salon, and you can also leverage that time by having staff. Okay, so that's all ways that you can have 3 staff. You're all there for 3 hours, and you've got 9 hours of work, income coming in. So you've got more than just your 3 hours. The other way to do it is taking a smaller percentage of a bigger piece of the pie, if you like. So a higher number of people talking and referring the product, and everyone consuming it, and we all get paid a smaller amount. So the benefit of that is less effort, less stress, and there's a bit of training involved, but that's it. And it's based on referrals. So you're going to go with people that you know when you want to buy something that's healthy for you, usually. So you're going to ask people, it's like our business in beauty and wellness. We get our clients from people saying, you know what, your skin looks great. Who do you see? Oh, I go to Vicky down the road, da, da, da. And so people come to you. It's word of mouth, right? That's how we've grown our business traditionally. It hasn't changed. I grew it like that, nearly 30 years ago. It's still the same today for our industry particularly. It's very personal. Again, if people are wanting to take things for their health, it's referrals. And so this is how you get paid. We get paid weekly. It's actually, they've just introduced this daily pay. So we now get paid like FPOS, or if you have a tap, a square. But we get paid 30 to 40% on sales, basically, on products sold, as their first lot of products sold for the month. Then you get, every time they reorder, you get paid a percentage of that. And that goes on forever, kind of thing. Then if you have, say you have a customer who likes a product, they tell their friend and they buy from you, then you get their products and their ongoing consumption. And so it goes on. So that's your monthly payments, and that grows. That's your, what we call go to the beach money. So that's your retirement fund, your go travel fund, your whatever you want to do fund, not your instant now fund. So that's your, what you do kind of thing. But the biggest thing for us as beauty therapists, and I'm getting older now, so I'm looking at like, how can I not work so much hands-on? Because, I'm getting old. I'm going to be 66 years. So I want more time with my family. So I worked my little buns off when I had kids, and now I have a granddaughter. So I'm wanting to work smarter, not harder. But I still want to use my brain. I still want to use my expertise. And this is a way we can marry those two together. Of course, I love to travel. Not that we can travel right now, but I look forward to the time that we can. So you can win. I've actually won an incentive with us for doing just what we normally do. So what makes this opportunity different? There is a system that we follow, and it's really simple. You just got to do it. There's training involved. You get me as your mentor. And I think that's quite key in our industry because it is slightly different. You can work this brilliantly in the beauty and the salon industry and also if you're working from home. So there's lots of different opportunities. The company is very unique, and it's at the top of its nutrigenomic industry and that biohacking side of things. The timing for us in Australia and New Zealand is now. It's like they say with real estate: location, location, location. With business, timing, timing, timing. So it's the perfect meld. You can work it from home, you can work it from the salon, you can work it if you want to go away on holiday. I did a month last year in Europe, and I had stuff on my phone. Not that I was doing this, but I could have if I had been doing it. We social share now anyway. There's no inventory. Remember I said about having all that stock on my shelf? There's no inventory. I do have a small stock holding that I keep. That's my choice. But if you decide to go ahead with this, I will share the best ways to make your money work for you in Salon. There's a really clever way to do this. Minimal business assets. You have your virtual office done for you. No paying for the website to be done. And it has your online store. So this is a little sneak peek of what that looks like. They just have a click and checkout option. It's very, very easy. So there is support. Best of all, you get me. So I've been in the beauty industries. I can make it really specific to what you do. I work with a small group of, well, a small team, if you like. And we focus on that wellness side of things. This is a wellness company, so clearly that's the focus, but there are some really key things that we can bring to the market that's a little bit different. So it's easy to follow. It's there, it's virtual, everything's recorded if you miss anything because of working late nights and Saturdays. So it's totally, you know, doable. So how do you start? You can either become a customer and try the products for yourself. You can become a distributor, is what we call them. So you can have your own stock holdings, and that means your website, basically, which you sell from. And you start by ordering a pack, and that is the products. That's a one-off order. And then your monthly requirement to stay commission eligible, they call it, is 1 bottle of PROTANDIM, so which is $64.50. So just to put that in perspective, I wanted to give you some real costings in there. And whether you want to be healthy on the inside for yourself, whether you want to share it with your clients. I know a lot of my distributors want to make a difference in the world. And so having something that they can offer clients, that clients are already coming to them and me for like these conditions. I want to sleep better. I want to lose weight. I want to have more energy. So we're already talking to them about that stuff. So now we may have a solution for them. So I hope you've enjoyed this information. Reach out if you've got any questions. If you would like to order or find out what the pack options are, just get in touch. And I look forward to your biohacking future. So thank you very much.